What's going on, everybody? It's your man, Cleveland Terry, and today we are going to be talking about the newly released update to Denon OS, and that is Denon OS 3.1, and something that I didn't expect to see, a Prime 4 Plus. What do I think about it? Let's talk about it. All right, once again, if you're new here, this is what we do. We talk about all things DJ related, whether that be gear reviews or gig logs or just DJ Business 101. We talk about it here. If that's something that interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit the notification button and that little bell. Hit that bell. That way, when I post new videos, you will get notified first. A lot of people are saying, hey, did you do a video on this? Did you do a video on that? I'm like, of course I did, but they're not getting notifications, so they had no idea what was happening. So make sure you hit that bell. All right, we're not going to spend a lot of time on this because, well, some of it we've seen before and some of it is brand new, but I talked about it a little bit in detail when we talked about the last Newmark product. And that is, of course, OS 3.1 for Engine. I liked it when I talked about it before, but now it's going to be released to the public. As you're watching this video, you should have access to Engine OS 3.1, including the desktop version. But today, we're only going to talk about the software that's built in. And demoing the software today, none other than the Prime 4. Now, this looks a little different because, well, this is the Prime 4 Plus. What does the Plus mean? The Plus basically means that, well, there have been some refinements, obviously, some modifications, some updates, but more importantly, you are now able to use Amazon as one of your streaming services. But there are some things that they did. Obviously, the first thing we're going to take a look at, as you can see, it's ditched all of the gray. So the gray is gone, and now we have this black kind of matte finish with some of the same metal-like features found on like the Denon Prime Go and all of the other Denon products that are coming out. So I do like the black. I want to put that out there right now. The black is very, very subtle. It's sleeker. It actually makes the controller look smaller. They've also swapped out the jogs that were on the previous Prime for the jogs that are found, I believe, in the SC Live, which I really do like. I think they're really, really good. So these jogs are very responsive. They're very good. They feel good. They just do a good job. I mean, that's just the bottom line. They do a good job. The layout and everything are virtually the same. I mean, if you look up here, you know, we're used to this same kind of, I guess, horizontal layout. And I know that they've done away with some of this stuff, but I still like the original body. I like the original design. I've always liked it. Even when they updated it, I thought, there wasn't really a reason for me because I like the way this design is. I mean, there's a couple of things I'd like them to still modify, but I'm sure that'll come when we finally get a Prime 5 or something like that. Right off the bat, I will say that not a lot has changed. We don't have USB-C ports on any of this. I assume that once they update it, you'll start to see more products with USB-C on there. It doesn't feel like, to be honest with you, that in music is kind of moving towards the USB-C just yet, but I'm sure it'll come at some point. Not the end of the world. Most USB drives obviously are still USB-A, so you have all of these lying around. Makes it real easy to just grab a thumb drive, which is what I did right here. As a matter of fact, this is my thumb drive to record box, and as you guys all know, if you have a record box thumb drive, if you pop it in, it's going to say, hey, you want to read your record box thumb drive? You click yes, it imports everything in, and it's perfect. Along with the Prime 4 Plus, you're still going to get the benefit of having all of the features you had on the original Prime, meaning you get the XLR outputs, the XLR booth outputs, and the zone output, which is one of my favorites up here, which allows you to send different music over to this zone completely. Like you can set up playlists and send music right to that zone, and then don't even think about it. It'll just do its own thing. Like if you have a cocktail room and you want to send some music over there, you can do that. Meanwhile, you can still DJ for the room you are currently in. And that's fantastic. So I guess what I'm saying is, for a lot of people, if you have a Prime 4 and you're not interested in having Amazon Music, the new jogs, that's one thing that you're not going to get on the old Prime 4. And these jogs are better than the original Prime 4 jogs. If that's all you're looking for, just keep your Prime 4 because the OS updates are across the board. First off, the touch effects. You click on touch effects and of course it is going to bring you to the screen. And as I said before, on the other ones, you're probably dealing with, you know, maybe 3/4 of the screen.
I surrender to your attention. My adventure to your love is gonna end. So remember, send me to the temple. These per se.
Latch.
To love you. Woman to make me woman to love you.
I don't know what it is about the fact that the screen is bigger, but it's making me enjoy the pad a lot more. There's just more surface area and I can just really, really enjoy it. Now, one of the things I really love about the touch effects is when you're in touch effects and let's say you're using the latch mode and you activate an effect. Now that effect is going to remain on until you remove the latch. But let's say you get out of your screen and you were, you know, playing stuff on this side. This blinking light right here indicates that there is still the latch on. So it's an easy indicator to go, oh, before I load something else up, let me just turn the latch off and then the touch effects go away. Now we're going to go into the effects in just a minute, but I do want to mention because we know that in 3.0, we got the ability to use samples. So we got air horn, you know, you got all these things in here. But one of the things it's not going to go away. So one of the things, and I probably just kind of let the cat out of the bag. One of the new features that they have on here is, well, the ability to assign your samples to any of the channels. So if you head into your settings and then you go over to mixer, you have your sampler output. Now your sampler output, like I said, normally defaults to main. And well, like it's not for me. So I have set it to 4. That way I have control over the volume really, really easy. Now, one of the cool things about this is once you've done that, well, now if you go over to your touch effects and then you press 4, which is this channel right here, and I add in a Now, of course, I don't know if a lot of people are going to have use for it, but I like being able to have control over everything I'm using. So that's just on the FX LFO Echo. Obviously, there are a number of filters that are based right in here and you can just switch to and just have at it. Have fun with it. Now, one of the cool things is, obviously, we have our normal echo. You can flip it to echo out. And same thing, it'll echo out. Along with that, you do have access now to these parameters. And as you can see up here, your parameters allows you to set a lot of different things, but one of the things it allows you to set is like a frequency. So you can apply effects to specific frequencies without doing it all. So if you just want to run an effect on the low band, or maybe even the high band, now you have that option. So that's cool. We do have things like the stutter out that, you know, we've seen on the Rain 4. And you can affect the bars, you can affect the pattern.
So remember.
And riser. Just like the Rain 4. Pitch down. Like that one.
meant to make you feel.
Scale down, which is one of my favorites.
Love you.
And you have to put it on 100. When it's on 100, it'll actually take over the entire sound. If it's not on 100, then you're still going to have residual audio coming from the jog itself. So I do like that. And you can adjust the scale, you can adjust the pitch, just so many cool things that you can do on here now. But one of the things is obviously, with this layout, it's a little different. It's a little, I guess, old school. So you do have to get used to kind of moving your hands up to get to these things where normally maybe in some other things, they would be lower. Not the end of the world. It is what it is. We won't go through all the effects. I really want you to just check them out and kind of get a feel for yourself, because this will work on any Engine OS hardware, any of them. Now, I do want to point out that once again, this is the Prime 4 Plus, so it will work with Serato. It will work with Virtual DJ. But once you move over, and yes or no, they have not fixed the changeover. You're still going to be waiting like everybody else for it to boot into computer mode, and then you can turn on your computer or activate it anyway. So that's still a thing. They know it's one of our issues, so hopefully they'll be able to fix that at some point. But for right now, that's what we have to deal with. Also, along those lines, if you turn on your Serato, your Virtual DJ, these effects will not be available to you. So we talked about playlists on the previous video. That's still going to be here. However, you will be able to create smart playlists from Engine OS desktop, from the Engine desktop, and then convert them, if you want to actual playlists just with the right click. And then you can send all that stuff over to your system here. I won't today, just because I don't have Engine OS, Engine DJ on here yet. We're going to be talking about this in the next couple of weeks, because there's some things that are coming out that are not on here yet. Now, one of the things that I talked about in the previous video was Bluetooth. Bluetooth is coming very, very soon. Hoping in the next, couple of weeks or so. There's one more thing, like Tim Cook would say, just one more thing that's coming. Can't talk about it. But I will tell you this, you're going to love it. And I mean it. You're really going to love it. So in the meantime, you'll just have to love all the cool things that they've added for this, including the Prime 4. As I've been using the board, it has occurred to me that it is nowhere near as big as I thought it used to be. Why do you ask that? Well, because the Rain 4 is actually wider than the Prime 4. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? All the hardware is just getting bigger and bigger. Now the Prime 4 looks like a little Newmark. This is like a portable thing. Now you can throw this in your backpack, throw this in your jetpack, and take it with you. And in all seriousness, now though, it is much more manageable now that I've been using all of these larger controllers. It's not as big in my mind anymore. I'm a fan of the Prime 4. I really am. And as far as flagships go, even if you were looking at the SCs, I still don't think they hold a candle to the Prime 4 and the Prime 4 Plus. Just for the fact that there's the zone outs, the dedicated XLRs on the main, the booth, and the zone, the ability to throw playlists on the zone, just the amount of space and utility that you have on here. The fader is actually good and it's replaceable, which is great. And then the software just keeps getting better and better. And it's going to get even more better. That's an actual English phrase, more better. All right, guys, if you found what I said here useful, hit that like button. If you found what I said here really useful, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you follow me on the Instagrams and Twitters. Get on my Discord, because that's where we're talking about all things Cleveland Terry. I'm sorry that it feels like I'm leaving you hanging. This is like Spider-Man, into this, what is it, Across the Spider-Verse? The new one that just came out, and the movie ended, and I'm like, there's a part 3? Fast and the Furious, the ends, and you're like, that's where we end? That's how this video